why people are speculating and why it's very, very shifty, very sus, if you will. That's what the kids say these days. But right now, looking at the way lanings go, it's going to be a side lane Balmond. Again, looking to go toe-to-toe against a Lapu-Lapu. And yeah, even with all the shields and lifesteal that Lapu-Lapu may have, the stacks that R7 can build up here. Yeah, I think a lethal counter on Balmond would be great, especially if it's stacked up with all of the damage that can come from Kid, damage from Ruby DD even. Yeah, by the way, that is not a tank Jawhead.
Oh boy, great that you actually pointed it out. And I believe that they'll be playing with a whole lot of aggression coming in towards these lanes. And with that, oh boy, Vin taking a little bit too much.
Yeah, again, this is one of those side lane mid lane matchups where it's just like, okay, we're just looking to poke and harass and just clear out the waves before making that rotation. Burmese Ghouls are gonna get the first. Ooh, Albert, he's getting real close to those abyssal arrows.
Oh boy, he just dodged it by a couple of inches there, and he's dealing with R7 right here. I don't think R7 is gonna be taken down just about yet. These gotta respect the territory as much as they want to proxy the wave over the mid side. It's Kid versus Psycho as well. Albert. Psycho's going to be backing away. A little bit of reset. Turtle is already up while the Diggy tries to plant as much bombs all over these bushes.
I want to be wrong about this Balmond. I want to be wrong. But the more I look at it and the more I think about it, I'm really hoping Burmese Ghouls get ahead here because he's going to need a lot of babysitting for a good majority of the game, for at least 4 minutes until he can kind of sustain on his own. But until then, he basically can't win any trades against a Lapu-Lapu. If he gets rotated on, he's just hoping he doesn't get dove. And most of the time, RRQ is just going to either dive in pre-4 or look to play on the opposite side of the map.
To be fair, if RRQ Hoshi bites on that, that's actually on them. They're wasting quite a bit of effort. And again, to think that this is just a Balmond. He has a dash, he has a flicker. That might be what Burmese Ghouls going for anyways.
Oh, well, I hope so. And I really, really do. I want to see this work out and be proven wrong here. But Burmese Ghouls, again, unless this is a meta that utilizes Uranus, I don't see this working out. But let's go.
Oh, R7 moving straight in for the kill, as it will be first blood for our RQ Hoshi, cracking Diggy into its neck.
And now they're going to be rotating towards top sides here. Hello, hello. R7 is going to be under his turret here. D could be going, but a great flicker from R7. And now the pick onto D.
And with D already running right back, they're going to be focusing on their attention on towards Kit instead. It's going to be called off as RQ Hoshi respects their ground, but Psycho might just be the next one to fall right here with the Blazing Duet coming out from the side of Ace. Oh, way too close.
Short seems to be the story here for Burmese Ghouls. They put out so much damage, and I saw that D was literally going to go for the lethal counter, but with the flicker out by R7. I see now, we all see now, we understand what the intent was, but I think with that failed engagement, at least they opened up top lane to get the turtle.
Yeah, and definitely you can see Vin tries to go in for first, but instead gets returned a favor from Ruby DD. He just went in with the unstoppable force, and now it's a 1-1 trade right in, and that Jawhead, like you said, playing very offensively.
Yeah, a mistake onto Vin's side personally, because again, Belleric on bottom side is probably saying, hey, I pushed the wave, I don't see Jawhead here. There probably should have been that communication much earlier on.
Pressure on towards R7 while Psycho's going to be cutting in towards the corner just to negate a little bit of a pressure. Vin will be able to clear some of these camps pretty much safely, but I don't think that it's really much necessary for D to be there at this very moment, but definitely RQ Hoshi can take it slow, and eventually they have to ramp up. And here goes Albert driving straight in towards 3 members, and well, they will be able to catch out Ruby DD.
Yep, really well played coming in from RQ Hoshi. They cleared up their top side. They realized, you know, they're putting a lot of pressure on our top side. Let's just run down bot side and make a play.
Here we go in mid. That's going to be one caught in the middle. Vin. D from the back spinning around. Time's journey by maybe. In comes the other. R7 gets one. Psycho finished the job. Kid is going to bite it as well as D. It's a 2-for-1 here. RQ Hoshi win that one against Burmese Ghouls.
Is it really worth it to actually risk everything over mid side just for this, as RQ manages to punish Burmese Ghouls, and unstoppable force at the ejector straight towards Psycho, and he will fall. Overstepping in towards that zone. definitely is very punishing.
Great punish. I mean, honestly, great punish coming in for RubyDD. He even gets the Blade of Despair. We haven't seen this in a while, but at least he's going toe-to-toe and he's doing a great job, an excellent job, in fact, doing so. But let's look at the builds and kind of have a bit of a deliberation over it, because again, you can see Lemon, he's building defensively once more.
Well, there's looking towards those builds. You've already seen some hepatises out there for R7 as well. So I believe that he'll be doing just about fine. A lot of attention on towards that turtle coming up, and Burmese Ghouls already got one in the back, and just looking at the goal differentials, Hoshi still having it in the back. They do not want to lose this though. Psycho approaching really close, but Albert, he tries to go in with the Retribution to steal it away and end towards the Tempest. The time journey's been popped, and they're chasing right in, looking for Kid. Flicker has been popped up as well. Maybe with Slither Health will be taken down by the Ling as they go in for more, but see, they are in their face, and Albert is the only few that's left alive alongside with R7.
Oh boy, oh boy. I mean, Ling, Albert could have gone for one more, but I think he didn't want to risk it considering that Ace did have the orange buff on him and he didn't. So it's like, I want to go in, but he's got a lot of damage, and Marksman's with orange buff slow me down with true damage. It's definitely not the best decision, so he pulls back out. It's going to be a 2-for-3 trade.
I think the Burmese Ghouls here, they're trading good for numbers, right? They're catching up. RRQ Hoshi still keeping up the pressure. And that one turret lead, if they continue trading this way, it might take a while for Ace to actually be unleashed. And so far, so good. 7 minutes, 30 seconds in. About D is holding his own here.
Yeah, I definitely like what I'm seeing right now. As much as they did actually give the turtle away accidentally with Ling just flying through with the Retribution. Not that they can stop it anyways, right? So with that, we're going to be seeing a little bit more skirmishes over on towards Smith, trying to catch over on towards Smith, but Psycho jumps right in. Time Journey being popped up as well. RubyDD sets up for a dive with the Unstoppable Force, and there we go. A catch on towards RubyDD. This is Albert punishing them all the way through. What a huge one coming from RRQ Hoshi.
Kid for Albert, and in goes D. This is not a good look for RRQ Hoshi. They lost their core for a mid. This is the jungler. Albert should never be caught out like that.
Wow.
There's very little catch on the side of Burmese Ghouls. What do you want from there? You're looking for that reverse time. You're looking for that knock-up or that throw away the ejector. You're looking for that arrow. And for that split second underneath that turret, they were able to still take out Albert every time. Oh, if they keep doing that, well, hold up. He's getting bursted.
Oh boy. That's going to be a turret being lost up, and great that you mentioned it, as of course that's a 1-for-1 trade in that role exchange. Not entirely the best of scenarios in the long run, but look at what we have. Another turtle here. Ace could easily take this one for Burmese Ghouls, as gold disparity obviously is not really too much for the moment, but big items have been purchased by Ace as well as D.
Golden Staff and as well as Brute Force Breastplate onto D here. And going back to that fight, honestly, it literally was just maybe who saved the entire fight. That Aegis, on top of the smart missiles, the shields wasn't enough for Albert to actually win that fight. And then once they walked away far enough, the high and dry came into play. But it looks like they want to go for more here.
Oh, they caught out Psycho. This is going to be an opening for the side of Burmese Ghouls. They're trying to find a way to just get some picks, but Lemon has already popped his ult, and there's nothing much that the Valorant could have got out of that anyways. Now Albert tries to move across the map, trying to make a little bit of a split push coming in towards the top side, and well, members of Burmese Ghouls, they're definitely nowhere near towards where the Ling is.
I mean, RubyDD is on his way up to kind of match the push, but I think it's going to be a little too late. And you don't forget that Vin, he's going to say hello, hello, get a good stun here, but hopefully he doesn't get one shot.
Definitely a good trade in towards mid, but RubyDD, speaking of one shot, yeah, there we go. Albert just gets one for free.
Great, great bait coming in from Vin overall. Leo, I mean, the way that this fight is going... Wait, hold on. Hold on. This fight is
going to be the spin and the Dryad. Wrath of the Dryad in by Lemon, turning it into a false engage. Oh, but they were baiting D. Lethal counter, not taking anyone down. Blazing the wet by Ace. Oh, I think they're just going to say, we'll take this purple and get out of here.
Yeah, I guess perhaps it was worth it at the end, although they did expend a lot of all these elements like the Blazing Duet, and this is where Albert wants to find that sort of takeoff with all these members coming rushing through the Little Wanderer side. They're going to be looking for Ace, and maybe gets popped out instantaneously. Whoa, that was a little bit too much for the Diggy.
Okay, say what you will, but I think the fact that Vin has to expend an ult to take down maybe, that's fine, because I think that was maybe's job anyway.
Yeah,
To some extent,
what they
if
need
you
to.
keep doing that, especially in big team fights like this, especially when maybe his time's journey is off cooldown, he wouldn't mind. But right now, I guess, since it is kind of a standstill, watch out. This might be conditioning. I don't know.
I personally think that no matter what, it's always going to be a win for Vin here, especially since maybe if he dies cooldown or without, it means that he's going to get gold. He's getting that free pick. And if this continues on, this could be one of those, it could occur where a situation says, hey, we're going to have exactly what we see here, Psycho catching somebody off with the Imperial Justice. So if maybe he gets caught out way too early through Vin, might be some problems later down the line.
Do note this is a flicker burned for Psycho. So that's one less bit of range, one less escape. But I'm not counting out the fact that he might get away with 1 HP. It seems to happen all throughout the weekend.
Yeah.
I'm being purchased by maybe.
And time to time again, we're going to be seeing a little bit of the choke point being set up coming in from the side of Burmese Ghouls, but nothing that they could possibly get out of, perhaps just trying to contest for this buff at the moment. But Lemon is already moving right in. Maybe is going to do exactly the same, just to soak in whatever it's being thrown at from the side of RQ. Hoshi goes in for a reset, but honestly, they are setting their eyes on the prize here with a big win on a team fight. They could obviously look for the First Lord, but Live Despair has already purchased from R7.
But also notice how this is working out. Lord is not really being contested here, and I think, you know, RRQ understand that he can't do much about it, because look on top side, Balmond actually getting a preemptive push to set this up for the rest of the Burmese Ghouls. And RRQ Hoshi saying, if we fight now, looking a little bit into the future, D is going to get that first rotation and catch off that back line, and R7 is going to be a little too late to the fight.
Yep, and that's what the Balmond is looking to bring to the table, is this whole mobility and this fact that you have to notice him. He's a little bit like a Yu Zhong, but a little more lethal, and I guess now with the flicker, he has a little bit more range.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be having that sort of reach just to go ahead and catch either, you know, on a good day you get Albert, or perhaps Vin, that's pretty close by. Now, that turret's going to be going down eventually, but the Lord is over on here to the opposite side, and Hoshi forcing the fight right here. This is going to be Psycho getting a catch, and the Lapu Lapu will be able to take down Maybe, and once again, it's a lot being used up just to get that Ziggy out there, so Burmese Ghouls can still plot out another engagement right there. They still got those flickers up online, and this is Lord really taking down a turret.
But also notice this. I mean, the fight's having oh wait, it's a full engagement.
Oh no, D got caught out there, and this is going to continue on. Lemon already used the Wrath of the Dryad, and it's going to be a false engage. Purple still kept here by Albert. They need to go ahead and clear this Lord. I think they're fine. Hold up. It continues. Kids get taken down here, and Psycho able to Mamba out. That's going to be a lot of damage taken in by Lemon. That's a trade so far. A tank for the mid laner, and the Blazing Duet has been used up. Eight for 2 so far. That's going to be Tempest the Blades taken 3 for 3. Very messy for both teams, but Albert is running for his life. Flicker in by Ruby DD, and they disengage. Still no turrets taken down on the bottom lane, but they actually push top.
Yeah, I think it's good enough for the side of Burmese Ghouls after that sort of fight that they have called on for, and almost actually getting everybody in the back except for Albert, of course, having so much mobility to move in and out. But hey, eventually this is definitely going to pay a whole lot of dividend. Let's look at the instant replay to break this one down further, Gideon.
I mean, check this out. The way that they're taking these fights here, Rubididi actually getting the ejector on that slide, into the slide, really great play. They trade evenly so far, but now they want to actually catch Albert here. I don't think they have the tools to do so. But coming back into this, now, it really comes to how strong Maybe is going to be. The more survivable he is, his ultimate is going to be very relevant in these full 5v5 team fights. If RRQ Hoshi wants to really punish them, they hit Maybe first. And one more thing to know, Burmese Ghouls not getting as much as a snowball, but they are getting those objectives. So get ready, because RRQ is going to start fighting it out and really starting to play more flexibly in the late game.
Yeah, the only goal difference is only 1,000, and here comes Maybe once again. Coming in from the side, it's going to be D as well. And Psycho getting caught out. He needs to run for his life, and he will eventually fall to the hands of Maybe. And with that, Maybe, as much as he gets popped up, D is all the way towards the back line looking for Albert, and R7 already dropping out. But Kid is giving his life up eventually as Albert pops in the Tempest. The damage is good, as you can see. Ace and the rest of the members of Burmese Ghouls, they're looking to end Game 1 right here, right now. And Burmese Ghouls, they take first blood.
Woo! What a way to drop the game. One mistake coming out from the side of RRQ, and Burmese Ghouls take a game off of RRQ. This is a big statement. Myanmar will rejoice.
I love the body block that was put in place to save Kid. That was close, but I think that was exactly the moment wherein, all right, if you're able to bait Albert, he won't be able to clear the waves, and we're able to finish. And that was just, chef's kiss. The 1, 2, 3 alley-oop slam dunk. Balmond just won a game in M2.
Yeah.
Not to mention that RubyDD was able to actually use the ejector to flick Lemon out of there, so he couldn't affect the wave as well.
It was all about just going straight for the core anyways.
Yeah.
The base!
Right now, I was just seeing you cast. That is a high level mechanics in just one game. They were just, using a lot of these small things to their advantage. It's just that RRQ was the first one who made the mistake, and Burmese Ghouls took advantage of that and got the win. I actually tried playing the Balmond, but you know what happened? He got stolen from me. I was trying to find the reason why Burmese Ghouls play them, but we will know that in just a bit as we are going to throw it back to your analyst, Wolf Lafell. Take it away.
You know what? The bag of surprises, the bag of tricks is way too deep from the side of the Burmese Ghouls. This is another surprise. It's really not that surprising if you look back a few months ago, maybe during the MPL Season 5 or Season 6 timing. But right now, we know that after the nerfs onto Balmond, it's no longer that viable. But why don't we look at that particular match and see if it is actually the reason why they won. My name is Wolf, your analyst with Lafell. Lafell, what do you think about that Balmond? Because to me, the sustained type of composition really suffers against the instant execute mechanic that you get out of the ultimate.
Yeah, so let's talk about the draft since you have brought it up. Now, just because Burmese Ghouls win doesn't mean entirely that the draft is flawless. There are still flaws in the composition, where earlier as well as in the mid game, where we can see that Lapu Lapu is actually very strong. And the weakness of that particular draft is that the Selena as well as the Diggy are like the main magic dealers in the team, so they cannot build a necklace of Durance just like they can build, but the thing is, it's very hard to apply on the Lapu Lapu. So if RRQ played even more aggressive in that kind of situation, it actually will be very, very difficult for the side of Burmese Ghouls. And right now, let's look at the itemization as well as the hero as well. We can look at the itemization from the Claude. One, here is the thing that I want to take note. We talked about power spike in M2.
Durance,
and when
just
Burmese
like
Ghouls
they
takes
can
the
build, but the
real
thing is-
fight, we have to look at Claude. Claude, once he has his Demon Hunter Sword, Golden South, as well as his Queen's Wings, that is actually the timing that Burmese Ghouls were waiting for him to really go ham onto RRQ Hoshi. Before that, they take anything that they can get, some skirmishes as well as some picks by RubyDD. And since you did ask me about the Balmond, it's reminiscing of how Uranus used to be played, where it just zones people away, and once he feels like, okay, this might be a little bit trending, he just runs away.
It kind of makes me think that this lack of Durance or the Blade Carrier coming out from Burmese Ghouls, they just thought of the idea that this is all about just hitting the objectives, getting the turrets, getting the Lord, getting the turtle, taking down turrets and pushing down, because that's exactly what they did. 14 kills only for Burmese Ghouls in a non-dominant fashion, but if you look at their map control, it is amazing. 9 turrets compared to just 3 from RQ Hoshi, 2 turtles to 1, and obviously that Lord that changed it up. You know what? There was a point where Burmese Ghouls are using the Balmond for zoning out RQ Hoshi and then pushing the turret.
Yep, and I'm also going to talk about Selena in a bit, but right now let's look at the MVP of the game. He's going to go over to the Claude of Ace with a match KDA over 3-1. It basically full itemization over here, ending off with the Athena Shield. And again, Claude did so good in this game just because he waited properly for his power spike and then going in, winning all of those team fights. Now, again, talking about the draft, just because we're like, oh, a Diggy pick as well as a Balmond pick. This is, I would say, a very new way of actually doing the poke composition or the siege composition, where if we look closer at Selena's itemization, it was actually full on the offense, where she has the Calamity Reaper, the Lightning Tranchuan, as well as the Clock of Destiny, where they want to push RQ away from the turrets just because, all right, turrets are important in this game, not really killed, so they try to get as much as they can, try to poke out a little bit, and then once Claude is online, is like, you know what, Claude, turrets, no turrets, we want this kind of win. And speaking of turrets, RRQ, I think, made a small mistake in the fight at the purple buff.
Yeah, I think that this was when they were trying to focus on maybe on the team fight, right?
Yes.
It actually resulted into another purple buff fight wherein RRQ Hoshi prioritized that purple buff too much that they lost the Lord.
Two towers were taken down by the Lord. First, the second tier, and then the inhibitor, which in my opinion, it was not worth it because they didn't get a wipeout. Ace died, sure, but the thing is, Burmese Ghoul, they got so much out of that play, and it's not like Burmese Ghoul did anything extra. Is that RRQ, I would say, kind of a bad decision letting go of those towers, and then just like, yeah, we won this team fight, but they didn't even win the team fight.
You know, whoever the shot caller and the drafter is from side of Burmese Ghosts, I think it could be like a very smart war general. Because they started with the draft, it was great. They started with Jawhead and then threw it in to get the Diggy, the last phase of the picking session. And I think they also did this against Bren Esports when Bren Esports were picking up the Sylvana and the Harley. The Aegis onto the Dig, it just made a lot of sense. And in this particular game, how they executed the actual picking of the draft and then in the game itself, it was amazing. The way that they're winning all of these small stuff, trading against RQ Hoshi, and then understanding their win condition. Again, that exclamation point in the end for them to focus onto the base instead of the kills was immaculate. You know, if I had the chance to just review that I will review it for so many minutes. But now we have to give it back to the casters for game number 2.
Thank you to our analysts, Lafel and Wolf. But before we discuss our side of things for game number 1, we would like to thank Tumi for being the partner in esports for M2, as the journey to become the champion of M2 has been perfected with the latest Tumi luggage and backpack. You can bring your gear anywhere with you safely without worry. Be sure to check out Tumi.com to perfect your own journey and enjoy the M2 competition.
As an established distributor of many well-loved consumer brands in Asia, SUTL Group is the proud 2021 MLBB partner in esports for Fiji Water, 8 Chunks, its cup, as well as Mountain Dew. To find out more of what SUTL is all about, visit www.sutl.com.
And you can also catch the live streaming of this mega event, Mobile Legends Bang Bang M2 World Championship 2020, held in Singapore for free on MeWatch from the 18th of January to the 24th. A total of 12 teams are competing for $300,000 US. Please do support your favorite teams, and who knows, we might have a surprise of a champion as the ways things are going right now.
Actually, in the top 4 here, there still are 2 Indonesian teams, 1 Filipino team, and 1 Burmese team in the Burmese Ghouls, right? That's from Myanmar. And by the way, Leo, Contra, Gideon Q, and Butters will be bringing you this best of 5 with the Burmese Ghouls already at 1. I'm so surprised that they are performing to this level against a team like RQ Hoshi, who also dominated day 1.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But now let's look at the whole scale of things here, because the Burmese Ghouls, if they do win this, they're going to be knocking down RRQ Hoshi down a notch into the lower brackets. And then guess what? A repeat of M1 wouldn't be happening. They would stop it and start something new, because in M1 itself, there were 2 Indonesian teams and 2 other teams from 2 different regions as well, and they weren't able to make it. It was going to be an all-Indonesian final. So if Burmese Ghouls do it, then at least they secure their spot. And more importantly, they are contesting the Indonesians. They have closed the gap.
They have to be the catalyst for change.
Exactly.
And of course, we're looking for that big change right there. With this, Burmese Ghouls already scoring that first pointer out there. You see, all the fans on Myanmar side is definitely for a very good reason. And they have shown what Burmese Ghouls can possibly bring to the table.
Now, looking at what happened in game number 1, RQ Hoshi, what do you guys think are the things that they have to adjust for them to win? But before you answer that question, it's Battle Night. Log in on January 30th to claim your free permanent skin. And we are very pleased to announce the launch of the new anniversary season of Magic Chess Blazing Hammer. The new adventure will officially begin on January 30th. There is a new upgrading system called Blessing, new little commander and map, all synergies revamped, and free trial of advanced skins await you. Now, in terms of adjustments, Magic Chess has it, but for RQ, what are the adjustments that they have to do? Gideon.
Well, I think for RQ, the first couple of things that they need to kind of readjust here is just being a little bit more proactive on the map. They're playing defensively against a team who is starting to look almost macroly sound. The Burmese Ghouls are making the right decisions all the time, and you could see in a lot of those team fights that back and forth, if the conditions aren't met, Burmese Ghouls hyper disciplined. They all pull back.
Yeah, and you can definitely see that RQ side look a little bit distracted in some of these sort of the goals that they have set initially, and they focus on towards things that, yeah, oh, this is a problem, we should deal with this problem, but honestly, the Diggy is definitely looking for their attention, and they're falling straight towards that trap.
Now we are heading into the draft. Burmese Ghouls versus RRQ Hoshi. This is a best of 5, and we are only at game number 2. So with Burmese Ghouls here, they just ban out the Benedetta, ban out the Esmeralda, RQ Hoshi, answering with the Yu Zhong and the Yi Sun Shin.
Yo, these bans are going fast. These are like selling out like hotcakes. Is it breakfast time or something? It's already pretty late. And I mean, the fact that they banned out the Esmeralda tells me quite a bit. It's like, okay, sure, priority bans, get rid of that Benedetta. We've seen RQ kind of perform on it, like R7, yeah, and Albert, the way they play it, nah, we ain't gonna allow that to go through.
Yeah, Panda versus James here. That is going to be a battle of minds between the coaches of these two teams. And so far, I think they've started to build a huge respect for each other, and given the Balmond that was fielded by Burmese Ghouls to answer RQ Hoshi's Belleric from the side lanes, I'm looking forward to what else they're packing here. And if ever it was to come out, I'd be a little disappointed if they pulled back a little here, because again, this is not the only time that they'll be meeting. They could come back. This could all just repeat in the grand finals.
Agreed. Now, Brody and as well as Natalia being banned out, what are some of the first picks we should be expecting here, Contra?
Well, we've definitely seen a very effective jaw hit, but they're going for the Matilda first. That was initially being banned in game number 1. So definitely the Circling Eagle will be contributing into all these fights as well as pokes. But RQ Hoshi now with the double pick, they definitely have options out on the table.
Yeah, I mean, the Jawhead is still up for grabs here. What else is still up? I mean, they could go for Jawhead Lapu Lapu if they really wanted to. I'm just going to quickly scan around. Yeah, it looks like there's not too much after that, but it looks like it's going to be the Selena here, showing a lot more often, especially in the second day of the playoffs in comparison to the first.
Yeah, I mean, the Selena is one of the things that Burmese Ghouls really take advantage of, and right now they can, well, they still have probably something up their sleeves that utilizes the Diggy and another hero, but for now, the Selena goes to the side of RQ Hoshi.
Could they force Balmond again onto the side of Burmese Ghouls? Are they willing to bring out the Balmond? Because I feel like the only way they're bringing Balmond out is only if they expect RQ Hoshi to be bringing out specifically, oh, Claude as well. What's his name? Belleric.
Well, I definitely think that it's definitely not first phase worthy to bring out the Balmond, in fact, and there's many of the things that can do somewhat similar in that sort of way, so they shouldn't really just, okay, go in for a Balmond again. It's very much expected for RQ Hoshi right now. So in response, now on the side of RQ,
I think,
how do they deal with Diggy?
I think the Burmese Ghouls are waiting to see if they can pick out the Balmond. Second phase is their last chance. They are going to be closing up with the two strong picks here to try and answer RQ's counter. But the thing is, yeah, No, I don't think you try to counter Diggy at this point. Like, if the Burmese Ghouls are so ready that they pick up Diggy second pick, first phase, then that means whatever RQ Hoshi is bringing, they're willing to answer back, and that's what makes maybe Diggy so strong.
Yeah.
It's not the usual Diggy that's like, okay, I just need my ult, or okay, I'm all in Diggy feed. It's more than that. They've turned Diggy into a lethal weapon here.
RQ Hoshi getting that Khaled. And the Jawhead is their fourth ban onto the side of Burmese Ghouls. That's going to be Akaja. What are the possible bans here for both teams that you're thinking that's possible that they're just gonna come up with?
I'm thinking, like, I would have been thinking a Cho, but even then, this is kind of very situational here on what RRQ is going to be first picking. So we're just going to have to wait and see, but it's going to be, oh, the Ruby is going to be taken out, and that's just going to leave Ruby DD a little out in the open.
Yeah, he only has the DD now,
Yeah.
not the Ruby, because it was banned out.
Feels bad, feels bad.
Very much so. Like, I definitely felt like it's somewhat of a good option to replace the Balmon, like, with the Ruby itself, but now they're going back at it once again. Are we going to be having that Balmon in hand, but Burmese Ghouls, they still can go into the gate, a couple of all these sort of the high mobility heroes in the form of Ling, which, you know, there was that split push that they tried to pull up, and Albert was definitely annoying to deal against. So no more Ling, they got to look for something else.
But then again, RQ Hoshi here, banning out the Ruby means they want to give a lot of opportunities or priority to that Khaled. So that only means they might be rotating this whole lineup or this whole draft on the Khaled.
Potentially, I mean, they lock in the Harith here, you know, it doesn't matter what Burmese Ghouls pull out, they're going to have some really dominant side lanes, and they're just making sure that they have some wave clear, have some great scaling, and just kind of force Burmese Ghouls to kind of play RRQ's game, where it's keep it in lane, keep it sane, as long as we're going for those 1v1s and small skirmishes, most of the time RRQ should get ahead, unless the Burmese Ghouls emphasize even more on their early game composition, because level 1 is looking real nice for Burmese Ghouls.
If through the draft RQ Hoshi is able to execute that and enforce that kind of gameplay, then yeah, Burmese Ghouls gonna get shut down. We're not gonna see the same way Ace played in game number 1 so quickly, 15 minutes in, even if they were behind. But right now, they locked it in. Hold up, it's going to be a side lane Claude. There's no way that a Hayabusa can share the spotlight with a Claude this way, and for them to both get good amount of farm. And yeah, this is, I believe, the third Grok of the day. One of them successful, the other not so much, still 50-50. The Burmese Ghouls looking to skew and change the numbers.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and interesting enough, you know, the whole time in this pick and bans, there is Sylvana available, but none of these teams actually went for it itself. So, yeah, like, this Grok now looking to displace of all these members and, of course, ram them right in with the power of nature if they could just catch them on those certain choke points, which will definitely be great as a setup for Claude to move right in. Now, final pick, and it's going to be that Roger. I'm pretty sure you guys have an opinion about this.
It's great against the Diggy, the Grok. It can dive as much as possible.
And go forever.
And go forever. And one of the things that RQ Hoshi is thinking about right now is to just stop the game by the time we hit